We are super excited to have you tonight. So you see several people that are joining us. Some of those are staff members, and some are some of our SAS members and things like that. So um, we have several SAS members that you're going to meet later, and those are going to be your Student Ambassador Society that will answer some great questions for you. And then our staff members that are here tonight are I'm Chandra Crawley. I represent the state of Texas. I'm one of the four representatives down here in the great state of Texas. I live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and I'll be kind of rolling through this information today. My friend Jill Duncan is coming to us from Missouri, and she's going to be in the chat. So please feel free to use that chat function. Anthony is also going to be in the chat as well, and he's one of our in-house reps. So I know we have a lot of Kansas students today. Maybe Anthony's one of your rep. Might be Jill, maybe me. Hopefully you're seeing some familiar faces, but no matter who your rep is, you're going to get all the help tonight in that chat with Anthony and Jill. And then hopefully you will leave here feeling really great that all of your questions are answered. So thank you so much. I see a lot of name changes, and that's really helpful for us to kind of take attendance. But without further ado, we are going to get started with our scholarship information program. So again, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We are excited that you're here and excited to talk more about Wichita State and our scholarships. To start us off, we are going to talk a little bit about just being a shocker, right? So I can attest to the fact that it is a great time or the best time to be a shocker. I went to Wichita State several years ago, and man, I think back all the time when I'm out talking to students that I wish I could be a student now. With the Innovation Campus, which we'll dive into, you can see that our students agree with this as well, that since we've had five of the largest freshman classes in our history in about 130 years. So those have been the last 5 years. We're really proud of that and excited that our students are catching on and saying, hey, this is an awesome place to be. With that, we do keep a medium-sized campus. So we have just under 18,000 students, which keeps those class sizes nice and smaller. And it keeps, campus seemingly you get to know a lot of people, but you're also going to see new faces. So that's really great. Next, if you are not aware, we got to have a segment on the college tour. So Amazon Prime has some really awesome college footage, and Wichita State is now featured there. So if you're on Amazon Prime, you're in luck. You could go check it out. You can see tons of pictures there. And so there's something that fits you. What's also awesome is if you're not on Amazon Prime, we have you covered. So my friends can throw that link in the chat. You can go watch our college tour full episode if you would like, or if you're seeing just one of those that may catch your interest and you want to go just check out, a 5-minute segment, you're welcome to do that. So please take advantage of that opportunity because it's a really great thing. Next, we are going to dive right in and check out one of those segments.
We have the distinguished honor to hear from Wichita Mayor Lily Wu. Mayor Wu is a 2007 graduate of Wichita State, and she continues to work with the university in her official capacity to strengthen partnerships and support the growth and development of Wichita and its institutions. Mayor Wu, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Alex. It's my honor to welcome you to my hometown of Wichita, Kansas. I arrived here as an 8-year-old immigrant from Guatemala and now serve as the city's 103rd mayor. I'm living proof that anything is possible in the air capital of the world. In 2003, I was blessed to start my collegiate journey at Wichita State and was awarded the Distinguished Full-Ride Core Scholarship. I majored in international business and integrated marketing communication. While at Wichita State, I gained hands-on experience at WSU-TV and internships at the Hayes Company and Koch Industries. I appreciate the connections and opportunities that Wichita State provided me through mentors and student organizations. The connections I made and the community involvement I experienced during my years at Wichita State helped me to lead Kansas's largest city. Wichita is a global city that celebrates cultural diversity with festivals like Riverfest, the Tallgrass Film Festival, and the Wichita Asian Festival showcasing our vibrant community. We have amazing food festivals, and our city offers more than 1,200 restaurants, from global cuisine to local breweries and coffee shops that make Wichita a foodie paradise. Wichita State's commitment to our community is also evident in the $300 million investment in healthcare through the Wichita Biomedical Campus. I'm proud of the limitless opportunities Wichita State students enjoy. Here in Wichita, your dreams are possible. Wichita State students are connected to a community where they can reach their full potential. They can work alongside professionals in internships and paid applied learning experiences on and off campus. I'd like to invite more people to join Shocker Nation and choose Wichita to live, work, and raise a family. Thanks for visiting us, Alex. Back to you.
Thank you, Mayor Wu. We can tell that you're proud of your alma mater and your city, and rightfully so. The city and campus have been so warm and welcoming to all of us, and we cannot wait to visit again soon. Thank you again, Mayor Wu.
Awesome. Thanks for checking that out with us. I'm not sure if you heard her, but she did say that she's a Gore Scholar, and that is one of the things that we are going to talk about tonight. So get excited for that. Um, all right, kind of diving into joining Shocker Nation, right? That's a part of hopefully something you've maybe done or thought about. If you're a senior tonight, hopefully you have submitted that application. It's a really simple process, especially coming from a state that it's not usually a simple process. With most of the schools that students are applying for. Basically, you can go to wichita.edu/apply. We're also located on the Common App, and then there is a $40 application fee that you need to pay. We like you to self-report your unweighted GPA and any ACT or SAT scores that you have. And then you can see that admissions criteria. So we don't require any essays or any extra materials. We will grab your official transcript after you graduate, so we don't need it right away. But essentially, if you have a 2.25 unweighted GPA, you're going to be automatically admitted. If you don't meet that criteria, that's okay. Maybe you have a 21 on the ACT or a 1060 on that SAT, and that would get you automatically admitted instead. So we invite you to apply. It's very simple, straightforward process. With that, we like to make sure that you know that we are one of the best value in the region institutions. So you can see several different institutions in some of the states that you all are coming from, but really kind of in the greater region that we exist in. So it's really cool that we are on the very bottom of that graph there, coming in with our last year's tuition and fees of $96.84 versus all of these other really strong regional institutions that are research universities. So keep in mind that is based off of 30 college credit hours and everything like that. I'm going to talk a little more about that as we continue. So if you're a Kansan, that's absolutely going to be your rate, right? That is our resident rate. And again, that's tuition and fees. You might be here from another state, and I think most of the people joining us today fall into our Shocker City or Shocker Select category. So I'm going to tell you the numbers, and on the next slide, I'll explain that a little bit more as far as what that means. So some of you who fall into certain counties in large metro areas within the I-35 corridor and otherwise are going to get to pay the $9,947 per year tuition and fees. That's the current rate. So that's another cool thing, is that that rate doesn't typically go up very much year to year. If you are in kind of one of those special states where those Shocker City counties are, then but you don't reside in one of those specific counties, you would pay that Shocker Select tuition. So you can see that's going to be it is a 33% discount. That's also the same as our MSEP, our Midwest Student Exchange Program, at $13,844 per year. As you can also see, if you're coming from an area that doesn't exist in the Shocker City or Shocker Select area, our non-resident rate is, under 21,000 there. So you can see that overall we are a very affordable institution. So diving a little bit further into Shocker City and Shocker Select, um, it's what I think is really cool about this is it's automatic. So there is no form you have to fill out. There's nothing you have to do. Essentially, if you reside in one of these counties that I'm sure our friends are linking in the chat there, you are going to automatically pay that in-state tuition. I will say when you get your bill, it's going to show you that you're still a non-resident. We still are going to say, hey, you're a proud Colorado resident or Texan or whatever. But then you're going to see it's kind of like a coupon code that county of residency takes away that difference of the out-of-state tuition, and then you end up paying that in-state rate. So you're still eligible for freshman scholarships with this, and you can see that it's a savings of over $42,000. And like I mentioned, Shocker Select, that's going to basically encompass anyone in those yellow states that are highlighted there that are not in kind of those bigger metro areas. So that's kind of how that works. If you have any questions, let us know and we can make sure that you feel comfortable about where you fall into with that. As far as majors, that's definitely one of the big things I know a lot of my students are concerned with. What majors do we offer? You can see we have over 230 areas of study amongst our 8 academic colleges. So we have tons of your normal options in the Barton School of Business. We're in the top 1% of accreditation, so we do a really great job with our business students. They just opened a brand new building a few years back. Not even a few years, I guess, Woolsey Hall. So that's something to see if you get to come on a tour. I hope you get to see that. In our College of Applied Studies, that houses our education. So all of our education majors, our sport management, which has ranked highly in the nation in the past, and our exercise science program. So those are all going to be really great opportunities for hands-on learning, things like that. Our College of Engineering has several great options. Our aerospace engineering program kind of, helps show that we are dubbed the air capital of the world in Wichita. So that's kind of fun. But they have some great facilities as well. So you can see some pictures here. There is a student working with a robot, and that's kind of in that John Bardo Center. The College of Fine Arts has several really terrific majors as well. So if you're interested in something like studio art or theater, we have you covered. But if you are kind of into the newer majors that have started really booming at Wichita State, we have fantastic media arts programs like animation, audio production, filmmaking, and game design. And that bottom right-hand picture shows kind of some filmmaking happening in the flesh there. So really great studio called Shocker Studios for those folks. Our College of Health Professions is going to house our nursing program, our communication sciences and disorders, our 4-year dental hygiene program, and then our graduate programs like our PA and PT school as well. We have a phenomenal honors college, and what I love about them is that their motto is that they don't do more work, they do more meaningful work. So if you're looking to dive in a little bit deeper into your major or into a specific class, you can kind of arrange that with professors and really just get a deeper view into what that interest of yours might be. There, you can minor in honors or you could major in honors. So there's a really great middle ground there that you can kind of choose what you would like out of that situation. Our College of Liberal Arts and Sciences has several majors. Some of the ones that stand out are going to be like a criminal justice or forensic science. We have our Law Enforcement Training Center, and that is a spot that's going to have city and county government officials come and do training. And we have folks from the field who are teaching those students as well. Our social work program is really strong. That's where our pre-professional program, so if you're looking to go to med school or dental school or anything like that, usually we would house you there because that's where all those strong sciences are with, all the research with the biology and chemistry and all of those good things. And then the College of Innovation and Design is going to be where some of our other art majors are housed as well. So all kinds of great options, and the pictures show a lot, right? The hands-on learning is really important to us, and we'll talk more about that as well. So scholarships, that's what y'all came here for tonight. I will start with our Freshman Merit Scholarship. Similar to if you qualified for Shocker Select or Shocker City, the Freshman Merit Scholarship is automatic, and no matter if you're in state or out of state, you're gonna get that scholarship. So the great news is The awards start at $4,000 and they max out at $16,000, and that's over 4 years. So you're going to earn anywhere from $1,000 to $4,000 per year. And I'll kind of show you the chart in a second. So it kind of you can see exactly where you fall. With that, all Kansas residents are going to earn that rate as well as anybody in the Shocker Select and Shocker City areas, since you get to pay that in-state tuition or a reduced tuition. Um, Really, what we're looking for is your unweighted GPA. And if you have an ACT or an SAT, that's just going to get you more money. This will be renewable for all 4 years that you're at Wichita State, as long as you keep your grades up and do what you need to do for that. The big thing is that if you haven't gotten admitted yet, what are you waiting for, right? Let's get that application in so we can get you your Freshman Merit Scholarship. So, to kind of show you around a little bit, essentially, if you have a 3.0 unweighted GPA, that's going to earn you $1,000 per year for each of your 4 years. Like I mentioned, having a qualifying ACT or SAT score is just going to get you more money. So that is a great thing. I will also add, if we have anybody, we may have one person joining us that's not in Shocker City, Shocker Select, or a Kansas resident. If that's the case, your freshman merit scholarship is going to be a little bit more because you have to pay that full rate. So when you go to the chart online, which I'm sure they're linking in the chat, you can kind of see those different ones. They're online. You're also going to see that they don't have the GPA only with the ACT score ones. So you'll see kind of two different charts. Span the whole list there at the website and you will see all of these things. So hopefully that gave you enough time to kind of see where's my unweighted GPA and where does my test score fall and what would that do. I will say again, December 1st deadline. The other cool thing is that if say you have a 23 on the ACT and you have a 3.5 unweighted GPA, so that gets you $8,000, right? But you can do better on that ACT, even just 1 point higher. If you send updated test scores to us by May 1st, that's going to up that award for you. So as long as we get those official test scores after you've self-reported, we can get you more money if you earn that. So we definitely encourage you to go take more tests if you think you can bump that up. As far as the Shocker Promise Scholarship, this is something for Kansas students only. So if you're coming to us from out of state, just hold on for a minute. We are going to talk about some other ones that will apply to you here in just a moment. But for Kansas students, assuming you are a U.S. citizen or eligible non-citizen, you're eligible for the federal Pell Grant and you have a family income of $60,000 or less. Essentially, you can get full tuition and fees covered for 8 semesters. So 4 years of college, which hopefully we can get you rocking and rolling within those 4 years. Kind of the main way to do this is submit that application if you haven't already by February 1st. Make sure that you complete that FAFSA, which that is supposed to open up October 1st this year. So keep an eye out for that. That deadline for y'all with Shocker Promise is April 1st. And then you do have to have a minimum of a 2.5 unweighted high school GPA. If you want to see more information, you can see that website there that you can visit for more information. You can also see, one thing I want to point out is that there can be a housing stipend available for students who are coming from outside of Sedgwick counties, but are otherwise Kansas residents. So what a cool thing. The next one I want to tell you about is one I love talking about. So the Distinguished Scholarship Invitational, or DSI for short, is one that Mayor Wu mentioned, right? She was a Gore Scholar. And so within this competition, we award 3 students that $64,000 award. And we're really basing this off leadership and academics. You can see that these are 3 of the largest annual scholarships offered in the state of Kansas. So it's a big deal that we are able to, have this scholarship hosted. And I'll tell you a fun story about one of the students pictured here. Caroline, she is from the Wichita area, and she met one of my Texas students a couple years back at DSI. They didn't know each other before that, and they talked a little bit after that. They became roommates, and I believe they are still roommates sophomore year. So that's really cool opportunity. It's not just like, hey, let me go compete for all this big money, but also let me go interact with other students who are like-minded, right? Leaders, high achievers, things like that. Let me go get a great experience. So part of the competition is going to be to submit a couple of essays and an activities chart. The website kind of gives you a lot more guidance about what you're answering and how to do the activities chart. And then when you come to campus, it would be fun if we got out on the track to do a foot race, but that's not what we do for the competition. We have a few different sessions. So you're going to have a group interview, a group leadership activity where we're just kind of going to let you run loose and um, problem solve, and then just kind of see what happens from there. And then another one that kind of realms off of that too. So it'll be leadership based, group problem
One,
solving type
2, and 3.
work
It says
presentation.
we have 40
Um,
fucking 5 minutes, and I
the
already said
great
it's only
thing
10 minutes.
is that in order
Okay.
to qualify for this, you just need one of the criteria you see on the screen. So it's not all of those. If you have a 3.5 unweighted GPA or a 27 on the ACT or a 1260 on that SAT, or if you rank in the top 10% of your class, that qualifies you to compete. So you do not have to have all of those. One will get you into the competition. The other thing to note is that, of course, you need to be a high school senior right now and graduating in 2026. And then your application materials for the scholarship, so those essays, activities, charts, things like that, is due on November 1st. Or you have to apply to Wichita State, I'm sorry, by November 1st. And then those materials in the bottom right are due on November 10th. The competition date is always the Saturday before Thanksgiving. So this year that falls on November 22nd. So we hope to see you there for that if you qualify. Another scholarship that's hosted in that same weekend as DSI is the Allen Gibbs and Hulick Scholarship Competition, or AGH for short. This is a $50,000 scholarship for coming kind of from the Clay Barton Foundation. This is specifically, like I said, for business students. The same criteria apply from the previous screen. So lock those in. As we move forward, there will be several that kind of have that same criteria: 3.5 unweighted GPA or 27 ACT or 1260 SAT or top 10% of your class. Same deadline for materials, right? You need to apply to Wichita State by November 1st, but you have a week extra to submit your scholarship materials. So November 17th for the Barton. And then the competition date is that day before DSI. So you can come, if you're a business student, compete in the AGH, turn around and compete in DSI the next day. So it's a lot of nerves, but the great thing is that everybody is kind of feeling nervous and all of that as well. So you're not alone. And it's also great that you get to make that trip to campus. What else is great is during these competitions, you have opportunities to do your college tour. So you can tour the whole campus, see the dorms, get to interact with academic departments that you're interested in. So you have a really big benefit if you're able to make the trip and join us for these competitions. One of the competitions that comes out of the AGH competition is the Jabera Scholarship here. So this is specifically for entrepreneurship majors. And you can see that two students are going to earn $34,600, the students that win that. So we just kind of lump this in with that Barton scholarship just so it's all still again one time. You don't have to do anything extra, or you'd have to do a little extra, but you don't have to come a second time for that, right? Same type of criteria, same dates, and all of that. So it makes it nice and easy if you're an entrepreneurship major just to get that one out of the way as well. If anybody is interested in being a math or science teacher, and when I'm in classrooms, I have a hard time finding those folks, but when I do, I get really excited. We have a scholarship just for you. So this is the close scholarship. Essentially, the winners, there can be multiple, are going to be offered $20,000. And so that's going to essentially cover most of your tuition and fees your junior and senior years when you are trying to student teach, right? That's basically like a full-time job. You're trying to maybe grade papers and do all the things. So that's a huge benefit for you. You can see the criteria is a little bit different on this one. 3.5 unweighted GPA, again, or a 24 on the ACT, or an 1160 on the SAT, or again, ranking in the top 10% of your class. And then you can see the deadline is a little bit later. We need your WSU application materials by December 1st. And again, you have to declare that major and all of that good stuff. Scholarship Universe is going to be something that we talk about a little bit later, but that's where you're going to be able to find this scholarship. DSI and AGH are housed in a different way where you can just go to the website and access those easily. Next is the Mike and Mary James Scholarship. So you can earn up to $40,000 if you happen to be a fine arts or liberal arts and sciences student. So again, looking for those seniors, submitting that application to Wichita State by November 1st, submitting the scholarship application materials by November 10th, and then kind of going from there. And you can see again, fine arts or College of Liberal Arts and Sciences majors are who are eligible for this. The other thing is that if you come and you compete in DSI, we're going to basically look at that pool to dwindle it down and pull out those fine arts majors and those liberal arts and sciences majors to fulfill this scholarship. So keep that in mind. You can see the finalists are notified in spring of 2026. So get excited about that if you're a fine arts or liberal arts major. For any engineering folks I have in the room, you can see our next one is for you. So the Wallace Invitational for in scholarships in engineering, or WISE for short, is an opportunity to earn one of 10 $30,500 scholarships. So again, high school seniors, same material, deadlines and things like that, same criteria as that DSI, but you have to declare an engineering major. And then that competition date is also on the Friday before. So you have the opportunity to kind of do both, get them out of the way, have all the great opportunities. Also, for any of our parents that are here with us tonight, I should let you know that most of these programs are going to have some programming just for you. So you would be separated from your student as they go do their competitions and things like that. But we are able to give you some great information and all of that too. So we invite you to come along and kind of enjoy the tour and some different things that you can take part in. Next is one that I just love the idea of it. So the Lenore McGregor Endowed Scholarship is through our Honors College. What I love about it is that it's awarded to a freshman who demonstrates academic excellence and intellectual curiosity. How cool is that? So you can see the dates are a little bit different on this one than what we've seen before. But again, looking for a senior who applies to Wichita State by December 15th. You submit your honors college application by January 10th. And I will add that to join honors, you don't have to have a certain criteria. So anybody can apply for honors, which is a great opportunity. You can see no minimum ACT or SAT or anything like that. So they're just holistically reviewing you as you go through that process. That deadline to submit your scholarship materials is January 10th. So keep that in mind. And then they will do interviews for that scholarship. If you are a College of Fine Arts student, you have the opportunity in some different sectors here. So first, I'll talk about the School of Art, Design, and Creative Industries. That's going to include our studio art, our graphic design, things like that. And we do these by portfolio. So you can see that wichita.edu/art scholarships is going to be a great place for you to kind of plug in and get more information. Keep that February 1st priority deadline in mind for that one. Another sector of our College of Fine Arts is our School of Performing Arts. So looking more at that dance, the musical theater, the theater and design. This is one that you are encouraged to register and attend major for a day. So we host one in the fall on October 10th and then one in the spring on February 27th. And you can see that we do require students to audition or interview for scholarships for these different majors. So this is a great opportunity for you. Don't miss one of those dates if you can make one of those work for you. Next, you can see that we have our School of Music scholarships. So if you're interested in the vocal or instrumental, all the students who audition for this will be considered for one of our general scholarships, which is really great, right? You do have to major in band or in music to be considered for a scholarship. So keep that in mind. We have a ton of students who come and want to engage with us with our vocal or instrumental performance, and that's totally great. Any major can do that. but you do have to be an actual major in order to take advantage of the scholarships there. Keep in mind that those auditions for Fall 26 are held in person, and they have a few audition dates kind of already slated. So February 7th or March 7th or March 28th for you. Whoops. Then we have our Passage to Success Scholarship. This is another one that if you compete in the Distinguished Scholarship Invitational, you're going to be eligible for this if you kind of meet the sub criteria. So you can see it's $8,000 to $20,000 scholarships. We award at least 10 of these. And kind of the way we filter this one down is we're looking for first generation students who have financial need. So if that's you, definitely keep that in mind as far as that DSI. And that's something I didn't talk very much about with DSI, so I'll mention it now. If you compete in DSI and you become a semifinalist, you're going to get a little bit of extra money. Semifinalists, we usually have, 60 to 75 of those. Then we dwindle that number down to our finalists, and we usually have 10 to 14 of those or so. Those students get an extra $10,000. And then the three core scholars, the winners, get 64,000. So I just want you to keep in mind that even if you're looking at the DSI thinking only three people win, if you make it pretty far through the scholarship competition, you have a really good chance of getting some money. So don't let the number of people discourage you by any means. And these sub scholarships can make it worth it too. If you feel like you kind of fit in a different criteria, then that's great. Along with the Passage to Success and competing in DSI, we do need you to submit your FAFSA by April 1st. Again, that should open October 1st, so that shouldn't be a problem. And we do require you to participate in Passage to Success program in the fall. It usually happens kind of after move-in or before, sometimes, just depends on the year, but it's a really good program and a great opportunity to kind of get on campus, get engaged with things before everything kicks off too much. So we've talked about, I mentioned Scholarship Universe previously, but I want to make sure that you have your attention drawn to our scholarship website. So first, our scholarship competitions, the DSI, WISE, CLOSE, all of the ones we kind of went into detail that are competitions. Wichita.edu/scholarship competitions is going to be where you can go and to find all of those. And then Scholarship Universe is going to be a portal that you will have access to after you're admitted to Wichita State. So wichita.edu/scholarship universe will allow you to see what scholarships match who you are as a student. So that's the amazing part. It's going to know your major. It's going to have your academic information loaded, things like that. You do answer some questions to kind of build a profile, and then it's going to match you as a student. So your friends probably aren't going to have the same scholarships that they see. Maybe some are going to be the same, but not all of them. The great other thing about this is that once you have that MyWSU ID password created for your MyWSU portal, you can use those MyWSU ID credentials, including your password, to kind of get in there, log in, and start looking at your matches. Any scholarships that you can apply for is a really huge, great thing. I have heard our financial aid office say a couple times, make it like a part-time job your senior year, right? If you were to fill out a quick scholarship application that's 500 words and your demographic information, I have students say maybe it take an hour, maybe two. So we'll say two. If they were to earn that $500 scholarship, they just made $250 an hour. So think about it like that. If maybe you're not going to earn all of the ones you could complete, but you could probably make a pretty good chunk of change in those outside scholarships or the smaller ones as well. So you can kind of see what Scholarship Universe looks like here. You're going to see that the dashboard is going to show you what you need to see. And you would have scholarships loaded in here once you create your profile, but it shows you what you've applied for, what's in review, what you've been awarded, and then other just matches. And these can update all the time, right? New scholarships get loaded in here. The other great thing is that they're all vetted through our financial aid office. So there are some scholarship things that you have to go pay for. Do not pay to apply for any scholarships. Whatever you do, find a trusted source like this that's vetted and safe, and apply for your scholarships through that. Another amazing scholarship that is for our Kansas students only is going to be our RUD scholarship. So one thing I'm just going to say right off the bat, you can see that Wichita State has over 60 Red Scholars on our campus, and that's more than any other university. So we are finding that Wichita State is the destination that a lot of Red Scholars want to be. So if you kind of fit this criteria, definitely look at your options. But talk to some other Red Scholars that are on our campus to see what helped them make their decision. Um, the scholarship is going to cover tuition and fees, books and supplies, and room and board. So it's a really big deal. You do, again, have to be a senior, a U.S. citizen, or a permanent resident. You have to be a Kansas resident, like I mentioned. Um, you do have to have an unweighted GPA of a 3.0 or higher, and then you have to have that demonstrated financial need. So definitely need to get that FAFSA in. You have to be Pell Grant eligible there. You can see applications are accepted October 1st through December 1st. So you have a couple of months once October starts to get that submitted, but highly encourage you to do that. They have some amazing resources that they do with their students after the fact too. So they have some just great programming and kind of the group. You can see those students are Red Scholars there on the screen, and just a lot of support that they're offered. Financial aid information in general, like I mentioned, we have a lot of additional financial opportunities, not only from our competitions to the matched external scholarships, but also the academic college departments on campus. So those typically open up in November, and you can go in if you are a fine arts major or a business major, whatever your major is, you're going to see those departmental scholarships open up, and then they're going to close in the spring. So you have a couple months to fill those out. Some of them are going to be an opportunity where you submit one application for that college, and it's going to kick out to all of the things, so you don't have to do as much. And some might look a little bit different. Again, I can't reiterate this enough because FAFSA has been on the lagging side in the last couple of years. So that FAFSA should open October 1st, and that's a big deal. We do have some great FAFSA resources on our College of Office of Financial Aid website, so definitely check those out. You can see too that our priority deadline for the FAFSA is December 1st. So if you go to studentaid.gov starting October 1st, get that submitted by December 1st, you should have your financial aid award letter sooner rather than later. And sometimes we've been able to turn those over before the holiday break in December. So keep that in mind. If you have any questions at all, definitely reach out to our Office of Financial Aid. Our reps know enough to be dangerous, but we're not trained in financial aid. So you can schedule a virtual appointment with them or go in person or things like that as you have questions, or if you want to give them a call, they can help you that way as well. Something that's really exciting that's happened on campus in the last, year is we opened our Shocker Success Center. So the building that you can kind of see there used to be our Barton School of Business before we opened up in Woolsey Hall. It's had an amazing renovation. So the pictures you see are a vast difference. If any parents online ever went into the that building there, you can tell it doesn't even look the same at all. But the exciting part is that we took all kinds of student services that were scattered all over campus and we put them in one location. So if maybe need some tutoring help and you didn't really remember, like, I also should talk to my advisor because, maybe I need to think about this class and things like that. Your first year advisor is in the one-stop student services in this building. Free tutoring is there. We have our math lab and different labs that are, you can just walk in and get help. Our care team is out of this office. You can see a ton of different resources, whether they're academic or kind of more just like emotional or well-being support. I love that we have a career closet. If we have students who are going to go grab an interview for an internship or a full-time job, they can go to the career closet, grab some professional interview wear, and be good to go. So definitely something worth checking out if you make it to campus to go to that Shocker Success Center. Our housing at Wichita State is something that my Texas students especially love so much. They don't see dorms like that very often, and so maybe it would be the same for you if you've been on a couple college campuses and are looking around. These are all going to be less than 12 years old, and for some of you that sounds old, but man, if you walk into them, they are really nice and new. Shocker Hall is going to be that most traditional dorm. You can see kind of that baseline price of we'll call it $12,000, right? You are going to have within Shocker Hall your laundry, kitchen, and lounge on every single floor. So you have access to everything. The laundry is free. There's an app for that. You can see what washers and dryers are available. So that's just kind of something different from when I was in school. Um, the other thing is that we do have more private single occupancy rooms versus maybe a double room or a triple room in that. So you have some options. And as far as what you're looking for affordability wise, that might help you do that as well. The dining hall is also located in Shocker Hall, living learning communities too. So if you're interested in kind of living with folks who are interested in what you are, that's a great opportunity to live in Shocker Hall. Freshmen are required to live on campus, and so your options first year are Shocker Hall or the Suites. The Suites is a little newer, and they're going to be more like 2 to 4 bedroom apartments. So full-on apartments, you're going to have a kitchenette and kind of a small living area in all of those rooms, but definitely you will have your own bedroom door. They have full-size beds too, so kind of neat. A little more spacious and all of that. You don't have a dining hall over there, so kind of pick and choose what you are looking for with that. We do have unlimited meal plans for all of our students, so you don't go hungry. That includes some dining dollars that we add to that as well. If you're like, oh my goodness, I want to have first place at getting the best dorm, October 1st is when you should apply for, was when you can start applying for your housing. And then December 1st is going to be that first early bird deadline. So if you apply by that time, you should have kind of first choice when those dorms pop open for selection. So you can kind of choose the room, where in the building you want to be, all of those things. Here's a quick video that just kind of showcases what the first week of school looks like. I am always so energized by that video. I just love it. We won't watch it again. I do love it that much. Just some really quick steps for success. I am almost done, and I will turn it over to our awesome students so you can kind of hear their perspective, because that's really important, right? Be sure if you have opportunities to take those ACT or SAT tests that you're doing that. If you haven't already, apply for admission. Super simple process. And then freshman merit scholarships fall in place with that 3.0 unweighted GPA. Other scholarships are there for you as well. Hit those early because we have some early deadlines. Attend any on-campus or virtual events this fall like you're doing now, right? Hopefully you get a little nugget of different information at any of those, but we do have different events so you can kind of tailor what you're looking for. Scholarship Universe is a great place to apply for those scholarships. Or you might have other organizations that your parents are a part of or in your community. So keep an eye out for those too. Sometimes high school counselors can point you to some of those that, are kind of more community based. Deadlines are huge, and you're going to see if you've, looking at a few different colleges, all the colleges have different deadlines. So keep a spreadsheet. I'm a big spreadsheet proponent, but that can really help you stay organized and make sure that you're following the right deadlines for the right schools. Check out and talk with our student ambassadors. They love talking to families and students about their experience, and you're going to hear from them in a second. If you just have a random question, you can reach them at wichita.edu/askashocker and kind of just talk to them there. And then also, social media is such a great way for you to have a window into what's going on a college campus. What are students, faculty, staff saying about what's going on? What do you see? Like what videos are you going to find? Things like that. So you can see that we are on Instagram and Facebook, with Wichita State Admissions. And then we also have a Zini platform. So if you are not on Zini and you are in high school, you need to check out Zini. It's just a community where you can talk with other future students. Sometimes people find roommates there, which is pretty cool. But also you can talk to students who are already on campus and kind of get their perspective. So it's just a really great way to connect with other students, because I can tell you a whole lot about Wichita State, and I had an awesome experience, but it was a long time ago, and things have definitely changed for the better. So no better way to kind of get that than from them. If you have any questions, please make sure to put those in the chat, but also be ready. Think of some questions you might want to ask our student ambassadors. And we're going to go from there. We'll come back to this slide here in a bit, but if you have your phone out and you're like, oh, I see a QR code, I better scan it. You are welcome to go ahead and scan that. We would love to hear your feedback, whether you're a student or a parent, just so we can do a great job of hosting these programs and giving you what you need out of it. So I'm going to let my friend Anthony take the floor.
All righty. Thank you so much, Chandra. As Chandra said earlier, I am an admissions rep here at Wichita State's Office of Admissions. I mostly do Southeast Kansas and the Eastern United States. So this is the portion of the evening where you'll get to ask shockers, current shockers, questions. So these are shockers that are part of the Student Ambassador Society. So I will ask them all now to please turn on your cameras and do a quick introduction. While they're doing that, prep your questions and feel free to ask them in the chat, and I will ask them for you while reading the chat. So SAS, take it away. Let's start with Kaylin.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Kaylin Richardson. I'm a senior studying elementary education with minors in marketing and organizational leadership, and I grew up in the Kansas City, Missouri area.
Hi, my name is Charlie, and I am a freshman, and I am an LAS undecided major with a minor in American Sign Language and Honor Studies, and I am from Claremore, Oklahoma.
I'm Riley McMillan. I am a senior here at Wichita State. I'm majoring in biology, and I have three minors in chemistry, health science, and university honors. And I'm on a pre-dental track, and I'm from Concordia, Kansas, which is a 2-hour drive straight north from Wichita.
Hello, everyone. My name is Grace. I'm a junior here at Wichita State. I am studying biology on the pre-med path, and I am from Wichita.
And hello, my name is Kyra. I am a junior at Wichita State, and I'm studying biochemistry on the pre-med track as well. I'm also minoring in university honors, and I'm from Northeast Kansas, about 3 hours from Wichita.
Okay, thank you so much, Student Ambassador Society members. So we have about 10 minutes to ask questions. While you all are thinking of some questions, I'll go ahead and start with one. So all these people that are here today, they will be on a similar journey as most of you, I'm sure, were on with picking a college. So if you guys could elaborate, maybe describe what it is about Wichita State that made you choose to go here.
I'll go first.
Go ahead, Charlie. You're good.
So, what made me ultimately pick was just the community as a whole. You know, I had been to multiple other different colleges within Oklahoma, and it was at Wichita State that I felt like I was actually part of like a community instead of just, going to school. Like I actually felt like I belonged and I was involved. And so that was mostly like my journey. I was looking for somewhere where I would actually be noticed and not just kind of like blend in. So that was, I just really, really loved Wichita. So.
Alrighty. So for me, I did grow up in Wichita, so it was pretty easy. Kind of growing up, I'd seen a lot of the campus and kind of the environment, and I really loved it. But honestly, what drew me in is just, I feel like Wichita State is like perfect because it's big enough where there's so much to get involved with, and there's so many different, things to do, but it's not so overwhelming that you feel like you're just a person in a sea of people. So I think kind of that aspect, but just feel I always felt like people at Wichita State cared about my success and were just interested in seeing my growth, and kind of a lot of that was what drew me in.
I can go. So for me, I think there's like a multitude of reasons for me, but the biggest one was probably the financial aspect. So because I did grow up in Missouri, I thought anything outside of Missouri was automatically going to be out of state tuition. I toured here, found out that I got in-state tuition, and then the different scholarship opportunities as well. So coming in, applying, I instantly got the Freshman Merit Scholarship, and knowing that I could take the ACT again, and resubmit those and get an increase in freshman merit scholarship money was also something that drew me in. And then the scholarship opportunities through Scholarship Universe. So don't get discouraged, even if you don't come in with any scholarships through Scholarship Universe or anything like that. My first semester, I had absolutely none from there, but I applied, I kept applying, and so I've been able to rack up some from there. It's a pretty simple process. I'm able to apply to 100 different scholarships through one application. And so that's what really put my nerves at ease, because I was able to go to up and apply for those, continually apply for those, and it all worked out in the end.
Yes, tons of scholarship opportunities if you're looking for them at Wichita State, and we've gone over most of them this evening. So I know a few of you all have alluded to this earlier, but you're fairly involved on campus. Why don't we talk about what maybe you're involved in, and maybe what's your favorite activity with the organizations that you're involved with?
So I'll start. So all of us being here on the Zoom today, we're all part of the Student Ambassador Society. So we get to work closely with our admissions office to help prospective students like you figure out that Wichita State is the place that you should be. So we get to know a lot of faculty at the university, and a lot of some of my closest friends are actually fellow ambassadors. So truly just getting to know some of those people on campus have made it so amazing for me to be here at WSU that I've really found my family and my home in the Student Ambassador Society. Outside of that, I'm also involved in quite a few other things, but the Pre-Dental Student Association is great if you want to do any sort of, professional. But we have a lot of pre-med, pre-PA, pre-dental. If there's anything that you want to continue on later in your career, there's a club for that as well, so you can get involved early on.
Share a bit about what I'm involved in. So, as well as everybody else here, I'm also part of the Student Ambassador Society. I formerly was our outreach chair for the past year and a half. And like Riley said, I have a lot of close friends as well within SAS. I've been able to make connections with not only members, but then obviously people working within the admissions office. And it's been great to make those connections. And then outside of that, I am a member of the Mortarboard Honor Society as a junior in college, and I am our vice president. And then I'm also the secretary of the Pre-Med Student Association. So like Riley said, there is a lot of pre-professional associations on campus that help you prepare for careers past college, as well as I'm also part of our St. Paul Student Catholic Center. So.
All right, thank you all for sharing. So we do have some questions. It looks like there are students that are curious about the Honors College. Is anyone here involved with the Honors College? Charlie, okay, or Riley? Yeah, Riley. Okay, so if you guys could speak a little about the Honors College, maybe some requirements to get in. Is there an application and what it's like? Chandra said earlier, it's a more meaningful aspect of classes for your education. So maybe talk a little bit about that, Riley. And then Charlie?
It's been a couple years since I've done the application process, so it has changed a little bit. So I'll let Charlie talk on that a little bit more. But really being in the Honors College is an amazing opportunity that you all should take advantage of. That You have access to a 24/7 hour lounge that I am studying in almost every day. You get to use a kitchenette space. They have a coffee bar. So if you want to have any coffee or some tea before you go to class, that's an option as well. Free printing is available. So you don't do a lot of printing in college, but it's still an option and it's good to have it for free. But I have taken, you have to take one honors class a year to fulfill and be in good standing with the honors college. And so a lot of times that can be a general ed requirement that if you have to take public speaking, you can take honors public speaking and it'll be a smaller class. It's going to be more discussion based, things like that. But if you don't have any classes that fit gen ed requirement, that would also be an honors course. You can make really any class an honors class by filling out a little bit of paperwork and you meet with your professor and you just figure out what you need to do to make it more meaningful work. So I had a bioethics class, for example, that I wanted to make it an honors course. And so I had book club with my professor and I read two philosophical books and then I just talked to her about it. But really that was a great opportunity to also just get to know that professor a little bit more than what I would if I had just taken the class normally.
So with the application process, I think it's called a holistic review. I can't ever remember the name. But it is not just based off of like grades. You will fill out a couple of essays and then basically you'll be like explaining how you hold up the virtues. That's what they're trying to find is people who are going to hold up the virtues of the honors college. And so that you do have meaningful work, and have students who actually have who are going to pursue that. And I will say, I use the printing all the time. I've been here for 2 weeks and I have used it at least 2 to 3 times a week.
Okay, thank you, Charlie and Riley, for sharing. Sorry for that awkward pause there. Maybe a fun question. Has anyone considered studying abroad or has anyone studied abroad or a study abroad experience that they want to share?
I don't think any of us have studied abroad, but it is a really great opportunity. It just I had some other priorities. I also have a dog, so that was a really big consideration for me is that I did not want to leave her. But it is a really great opportunity. You can do it with any major, any interest, and we have a lot of different partnership universities across the globe. So if you want to go out of the country, that's an option, but you can also stay in the United States and do what's called National Student Exchange. So we have some partnership universities here in the United States and some other territories. So if you're looking at maybe getting some marine biology experience, you can go over. We have some partnerships in California that you can get experience in, or we even have a partnership university in St. Croix as well. So if you want to go to the beach, we do have some partnership universities in other places.
If you want, if you aren't really committed to a full semester or a full year abroad, we do have other options that you would only spend 3 weeks in another country. I know quite a few people who've done like a art history course and they've gone to Europe and spent 3 weeks and they've all had a really lovely experience as well.
Yes, and a couple of the benefits of studying abroad. I don't know, Kaylin, if you said this earlier. If you did, I apologize. With both the National Student Exchange Program as well as part of the study abroad programs, you are able to pay Wichita State University's tuition rates, which are currently affordable as they are, to attend those colleges in different countries. So that's nice. All righty. It is past 8, so we will go ahead and wrap up the student panel now. If nobody else has any other questions, thank you so much, Student Masters aside, for being here and fielding those questions. Is there anything last minute that you want to add to your comments or discussions for today? Perfect. Okay, then I will go ahead and turn it over to Chandra. She's going to close us out for the evening. Thank you all.
Hello again. I hope you enjoyed our students. I really love the opportunity to get to hear from them. And just they're a wealth of information. So truly, if you have questions that you think of after this program, don't hesitate to reach out to the Ask a Shocker website that we mentioned before. Um, if you guys don't have any further questions, again, we do hope that you will scan this QR code. So I will leave that up here for just a second longer. I know I kind of breezed past it earlier, but we want to make sure that, again, if you maybe you have follow-up questions that you want to get answered that we maybe didn't get to in the chat or that you just may think of, I think there's a place for you to do that there as well. But we are so glad that you were able to come and join us. If anybody wants to stick around and ask us some questions here whether in the chat or if you want to unmute and be brave, you're welcome to do that too. One last thing that I will flip to is just some of those social media handles. So we really, really do think that's a great way for students to kind of see what's happening at Wichita State or other colleges that you're looking at. Our blog is something that's really, really cool. I love checking out what students or our staff kind of are doing on there, but you can see a variety of other opportunities to kind of engage. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much. If you have opportunities to visit us and things like that, hashtag Future Shocker is a great way to engage with us and all of that good stuff. So again, if you have questions and you want to stick around, please feel free to do that. But otherwise, you should be free to enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks again for spending time with us. And we hope you all get to visit campus if you haven't already, and go Shockers.